shalakaya chaksurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Welcome again to reading from Srila Gurudev's lectures. And I'll try to start reading today from the actual book and see what comes up. And yeah. So this is Srila Gurudev's first lecture given in the Western world. He spent his whole life in India, never left India, and then now at an old age, I'm not sure exactly how old, but possibly, in his 70s, he traveled all around the world. And in the last about 14 years of his life, he traveled, almost 30 times over the whole world and preached this message of God consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And so this is his first lecture that we'll read that he gave in the Western world in Holland, 1996. So these are that's the first place that he went on his Western tour in 1996. So Srila Gurudev says, "First of all, I offer my heartly expression of devotion to the lotus feet of my Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Stotara Shata Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, who is his guru. I also offer my deep shraddha, my deep faith and honor to the lotus feet of Pujyapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, who in the West we know as Srila Prabhupada, who first brought this message of Krishna consciousness from India to the Western world pretty much for the first time in a very successful way in about the mid-1960s, and started a revolution and an entire religion. He didn't create it, but he brought it from India and established it in the West, all over the world. And now there's hundreds and thousands of devotees chanting the holy name because of his influence. Srila Gurudev also says that he offers his pranam to Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who we can explain more about later, but he was the guru of Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta. He was the guru of Srila Swami Prabhupada. And so he was around, in the 1920s in India, around that time. And he was the son and disciple of another great saint in our line by the name of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who wrote so many books about Krishna consciousness and love and devotion for Radha and Krishna, the divine couple, the supreme personalities of Godhead. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's coming in this line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who in this age of Kali Yuga only appeared maybe 500 or so years ago, 530 years ago, around that number, in Bengal or Navadvip in India. And he was on this planet for about 48 years, Mahaprabhu was. and distributed love of Godhead all throughout India, and through his disciples, his prominent disciples like the 6 Goswamis and many other associates. All of that love and that knowledge is being passed down through disciplic succession, and we get to hear about it and practice it. We have the opportunity to associate with personalities who have received and who are absorbed in this love of God. And so we're very, very fortunate, and so that we have the opportunity to hear about all these things. And many other in other times in this universe, and after the destruction of this universe and the recreation, it's very rare that Krishna himself, God himself, comes and distributes specifically the mood that Mahaprabhu distributed, which is the spontaneous, loving devotion and the spotless, pure love of the residents of Vrindavan, which is where Krishna, in the form of a human-like, person, is present with all of the gopis and gopas, his cowherd friends and his cowherd girlfriends, and his mother and father, and all of his cows, and so many cows. That's where he plays his pastimes. That's where he was born. When Vrindavan manifests in this world. But in the spiritual world, he's eternally there, dancing and playing on his flute and enjoying pastimes with all of his near and dear associates. And they exchange so much love with each other. So that's just to explain a little bit about this, these personalities that Gurudeva is speaking about. It's the parampara, or the line of disciplic succession of guru and disciple, passing this knowledge down from Mahaprabhu himself to his disciples, to their disciples, to their disciples, and practically following all of it, all these things, all these teachings, realizing it, and giving it to others. And so we'll talk more about all these things, but I'll continue reading. By the causeless mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, we are seeing so many devotees here in Holland. Holland is a small country, and yet I was not expecting to see so many devotees here. It is the grace of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. He came to fulfill the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially of his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada, he came, and what is the desire of Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu is himself Krishna, God himself. And Srila Gurudeva would always say that Krishna is so worried for us, for all of us living entities and souls that are in this material world of birth and death, and who are undergoing so much suffering, because all of the living entities are like God's children. They're part and parcels of Krishna himself, having come from Krishna, having been created in one way by Krishna. And also all the living entities, all the souls, they have a eternal relationship with Krishna. an internal loving relationship with Krishna. So in this world, we identify with these material bodies and we think that this person is my mother, this person is my brother, this person is my son, this person is my wife, this person is my husband. And so we have all these relationships. This person is my friend. But we should think and begin to consider, what is our relationship with God? Is he like our friend? Or is he like our father? Or is he like our beloved, our husband, or our lover? And so, first, that depends on coming to the understanding that we are not these material bodies. And coming to the understanding that all of these relationships that we have in this world, based on our own false ego that I am a man, or I am a woman, or I am this person's son or father, like this, is actually false, because it's temporary. Every person in this world is subject to death. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the jiva is being, at the time of death, he simply enters a new body. So there's a verse, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In the Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, that just like the soul is traveling in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, at the time of death, one enters a new body. And so we can understand by that example that we are not who we were even a few years ago. We might have been 10 years old or 20 years old, and at that time perhaps we weren't a father, or we weren't something like this. And now all of a sudden our designation changes. Now instead of being a son, we're a father, and this person is our son. And we're not a child anymore, we're a grown adult. And then when we get older, then we identify that we're an old person. And it's almost like you're a completely different person than you were, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And even in science, they say that every 7 years, all of your cells in your body change. And so factually, that person who you thought that you were in the past is completely gone and dead. But yet, we're still alive, we still have consciousness, we can still perceive things. And so, Krishna is saying that at the time of death, you simply, he says it's like taking off your clothes and putting on new clothes. When your clothes are all worn out and tattered and dirty and you can't wear it anymore, you take them off and you put new clothes on. But the person underneath the clothes is still the same. That person persists. So similarly, the soul is putting on different bodies, just like their clothes. And, one day you have one set of clothes, the next day you have another set of clothes, the next day you have another set of clothes, different clothes. So similarly, we're taking birth in different bodies, we're dying, we're taking birth in another body, just like we're exchanging clothes every day. So, anyhow, Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, either he comes or he sends his associates to come and wake people up to this knowledge and tell people that no, you are the soul, you are the living entity inside this body. And right, when you cut your arm off, if your arms get cut off, you are still thinking that you still have consciousness. You still identify somehow or other with this body and this world, with your false ego, with your personality. And so we can't say that this body is ourself, because one moment we were saying, this is who I am, and then the next moment your arm gets cut off, and now, although you're a completely different person, you're still saying, this is who I am, although it's completely changed. That person has died, and now you're a new person that no longer has an arm. So, in this way, we try to find out, who am I eternally? What is my eternal identification? Because once we are reborn, now all of a sudden we may not be a man, we may not be even a human. And then now all of a sudden we have a different identification. And we're trying to find happiness. But that's not the nature of the soul. The soul is eternal. And so we want to find out who we really are eternally. What is our spiritual form that never dies, that is eternal? So Krishna comes, or his associates come, give us this knowledge. And this is Krishna's desire, because Krishna has so much love for all of his parts and parcels, all of his souls, all of the living entities, because they're like either his friends or his servants or his lovers, or like his mothers and fathers who are very affectionate to him in that way. And so he's weeping for them, Gurudev said, that they should come back to me and we should love each other forever. And so the living entity, the jiva, it's like a child that has run away from home and is looking for love in so many places, but not finding anything. And Krishna is like our mother or father in the home, just weeping, praying, when will my son or my daughter come back and they can be happy and I can nourish them and feed them and love them and support them. So this is the mission of Mahaprabhu. This was Mahaprabhu's desire, to liberate all the living entities from this prison of material existence by giving them a taste for spiritual life, for that eternal relationship of love with Radha and Krishna, and inspiring them and attracting them to go to that world. And when we develop that desire strongly enough, then Krishna will bring us there, and we can attain that position. But Krishna, God is not going to force us to love him, because the jiva is independent. The jiva has free will. The living entity, the soul, has free will. And so Krishna is not going to interfere with our free will. He's not going to force us to love him, because then it wouldn't really be love. It would just be servitude. If we didn't have a choice, then it wouldn't be real, and there wouldn't be it wouldn't be so relishable or tasteful. And so just like Krishna is independent and he has free will to do whatever he pleases, Similarly, the jivas being the same in quality, a very minute part of Krishna, we also have that decision to either turn towards him and go towards him and love him, or turn away from him and be absorbed in this material world, in this false, illusory prison, trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. But anyhow, Mahaprabhu is coming, Krishna's coming, and they are in so many incarnations. They're giving all the jivas an opportunity to go back there and go to Krishna, go to God. So if we can take up that opportunity, take advantage of it, and chant the holy names, and really have a desire to go back there, then Krishna will bring us there. Otherwise, if we don't really want it, and we want all the things of this world and enjoyment in this world, then Krishna will continue in this endless cycle of birth and death, trying to be happy here. Jai, Radhe Radhe. I'm going to stop there. I don't want to make videos too long. I got through one paragraph, and hopefully we can continue to go through more. There's so many pages of this. I really want to get through as much of this as possible, but Srila Gurudev, he would say that I've been reading and giving classes on Brihad Bhagavatamrita for 30, 40 years, and I haven't even finished the first chapter, because he said, anytime you're reading from all these things, from the scriptures, you should try to go very deep into that and try and understand the very deep meanings behind all of these things. And so all of these teachings and all of these topics, they're very deep. And he said, if you will do like that and you will pray to the author for their mercy, then you can relish all of these things and realize something. And Gurudev, he would always say, don't waste your time. And so I'm repeating the words of Srila Gurudev, where he says that this human form of life is very rare. All of our scriptures, they say like this. And it's very temporary. There should be a sense of urgency, Gurudev said. He said, don't waste even a single moment in sense gratification. Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that we cannot even trust our next breath. Right? We don't know how long we have to live. And depending on every single thought that we have, every single activity that we do, this is determining where we go and our destination. If death will come at any moment, whatever our consciousness is absorbed in, we will attain that. Just like if you were to dedicate yourself every moment to becoming a lawyer and you're thinking, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a lawyer, and you're studying and everything, then eventually you become a lawyer and you attain that position and you have the knowledge, and that's that. Anything is like that. So similarly, Gurudev said, Krishna says in the Gita, whatever one is thinking about at the time of death, he will achieve that same state. Gurudev said, if you're thinking about Radha and Krishna and their associates and their pastimes, then you will attain that position. You'll go to them in the spiritual world, and you'll take a fortunate birth in the association of those devotees who can help you progress further according to your desire, according to your mood. And so Gurudev would always say the very first thing that you should do is pick a goal. What is the goal of your life? He said some people, their goal is to make money, and so therefore they get a job and they do this and they do that, and they want to make $1 million, $100 million, $1 billion. They want to be a billionaire. And so their whole life revolves around that goal. Gurudev said, if you don't have a goal of life, then your life is like zero. What is the point of your life if you have no goal? We wake up in the morning, we have some goal. Is it to find a girlfriend? Is it to find, love in this world? Is it to be very, strong, so we go to the gym? Is it to make a certain amount of money? Is it to travel to many different places? Is it to attain mystic powers, or, achieve some kind of accomplishment? Everyone's going towards something, working towards something, becoming skilled in something, in order to make money, whatever it may be. And so, like we've discussed before, everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants love. But we should know that Krishna, Gurudev said, Krishna will not cheat you. Like, we love someone in this world and then they cheat on you, or they hurt you, or give you up, or they die. And then where's the love? But we should know that Gurudev said, Krishna will never divorce you. Krishna will never cheat you. He is always there. He is eternal. He's always there for you. And he, as much as we want to love him and be with him, he will love us and be with us. Gurudev said even we should try to have more love for Krishna than he has for us. And if we pray and pray and pray that we can go to him, then at the time of death, which could happen at any moment, he will bring us to him. This is the essence of everything. Gurudev would always say like this. It's really not that hard. It's very, very simple. And so with that sense of urgency, we should live our lives in such a way that we can attain that goal and not be distracted by so many other things. Srila Gurudev, he said that prem, Krishna prem, love for God, likes to be alone. And he would say that two swords cannot fit in one sheath. So if we want to enjoy this world and be absorbed in false ego and sense gratification and lust and so many other things in this world, we can't also have love for God. Because love for God is something that completely encompasses and completely overtakes and drowns out and smothers anything in its path. And if Krishna is in our hearts and love for Krishna is in the heart of anyone, They can't do anything but think about Krishna. They can't do anything but remember Krishna. They can't do anything but speak about Krishna and desire to serve him, because that love is so overwhelming and so intense. Because if you think about it, Krishna, he's the most attractive person. He's the source of all beauty, the source of all attractiveness. The name Krishna, just the name Krishna means the all attractive, the reservoir of all pleasure and all happiness. And so that's what anyone is looking for at the end of the day. And so the very fountainhead, the very source, the very origin, the very embodiment of that love, of that beauty, of that sweetness that everyone is looking for is Krishna. So if one comes in contact with that really and realizes the sweetness of his name and hearing about him and remembering him and serving him in one spiritual form, there's no coming back from that. There's no falling down from that. And you get that higher taste of eternal, transcendental, topmost bliss. And the happiness of this world is like nothing better than stool or dirt. You even spit at the thought of enjoying your senses, it's said in the scriptures. Yamunacharya, even thinking about sex life, he would spit at the thought how low and degraded this sense enjoyment is compared to relishing the divine mellows of love for Krishna. That spotless love that's completely selfless and causeless and unconditional. So, you cannot put two swords in one sheath. Gurudeva would say, don't waste your time. He said, from today, not from today, but from right now, you should do bhajan very seriously. And he said you should take initiation from a guru, from a spiritual master who is realized or has somewhat some realization of love for Krishna and Krishna himself and Radharani and all of these things. Someone that can guide us and help us progress towards that world. Because he would say, because you may die tomorrow, you may die tonight. So at once, you should not waste this life, this opportunity. If you don't have a guru, if you don't know of any guru, spiritual master, then you should call out and pray to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, oh, God, please help me. I don't want to suffer anymore. I can't find happiness here. Please send me a spiritual master, send me a guru who can help me. And then under their guidance, if we can follow their instructions, gradually we can purify our hearts of any material qualities and develop this love for Krishna that will make us happy forever. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.